Hello and welcome back to another episode of The Most Haunted City on Earth. My name is Madison Timmons.
I'm Chris Susi.
And if you're watching us in video form, then you might be looking at all the things scattered around us. If you are just listening to this podcast, well, we are currently surrounded by a bunch of ghost hunting equipment.
That is correct.
Yes. So we thought it might be a fun idea to kind of go through some of the various items that you can bring with you on a ghost hunt.
We certainly talk about ghost hunting tools a lot on this podcast, so we thought we'd bring some on and introduce you to them. For those of you who are not familiar, and for those of you who are, you'll know the kinds of things that we use.
Absolutely. Yes. Because I feel like that is like one of the biggest fears that a lot of people have when they start ghost hunting is like, they're like, oh, this is a lot of equipment I don't know how to use. And like, what is that? Like, what is a spirit box or what is an EMF reader, yada, yada, yada. And so today we're here to clear some of that up. How do you want to start with this, Chris?
Sure. We will just go over the various tools that I have in front of me, starting with the REM pod. The REM pod, which is a fascinating piece of equipment developed specifically for ghost hunting. It actually has an antenna that creates an electromagnetic field, so it can detect EM radiation whenever something gets close to the antenna itself. It also has an onboard heat sensor, temperature sensor, so that when you set it, it sets the temperature as this is the temperature of the room. So if it drops or increases at all, it will set off the alarm. So I'm going to turn it on. It should make a funky doodle sound. There. So I've just turned it on. It has a central light on. If I go close to the antenna, it will make that sound. It is a weird sound to hear in the middle of the night when you've set it out somewhere very lonely, and all of a sudden you hear that sound. If I press this button, it has now set the temperature of this room to its sensor, and if the temperature rises or falls, it will go off. I can also set the pod itself on 0, which then gives me a new reading. It's a very fascinating and fun thing. And again, whenever I use tools of any type, I always use tools in part for their entertainment value. Because what they really do is they provide you a way to make the time in a ghost hunt go by quicker.
Absolutely.
Because ghost hunts are very boring. I cannot stress this enough. A lot of people would think that ghost hunts are very exciting. It's not true. A lot of times you spend a long, long period of time where nothing is really happening. So if you ever see us and you see us at a ghost hunt and it looks really exciting, it's because we cut out all the sitting around and staring at the wall.
It's true.
But it's worth noting that this equipment so it's going off.
And we are in definitely a haunted location.
Yeah, we are in definitely a haunted location. That was weird. I don't know.
How close does it have to be for it to go off? Oh. So like you got to be.
You have to be right on it. As a matter of fact, when you're usually trying to communicate with spirits, you would say, "Come close to this antenna," and hopefully something will come and pass by it.
Yeah.
And cause that reaction. So oftentimes you're just basically saying, do you see that red light? Go towards the red light, touch the red light, touch this, and it will go off. It just went off pretty soundly for a while there. So what you were hearing was the actual device going off.
Mm-hmm. And mind you, we have been sitting in here for hours talking about ghosts.
Looking for ghosts.
So it is not out of the realm of also being that the ghosts are sick of us at this point.
I am sure that we've been talking their ears off.
Yeah. We noticed that when we tend to film episodes in bulk, sometimes the ghosts are literally like, okay, you're done. You can be done now.
Got finish.
Yeah, finish.
We had the ghost tube on earlier, and it was like finish. It was like, oh, it's time to finish.
Yes.
And it was actually right. It knew what time we were supposed to finish. So good on you for keeping time as a stage manager ghost, I guess.
It's a stage manager ghost, or it's just the residual energy of Kristen Osborne. Just standing
Let's
here like,
stay on schedule.
yes. It's going off again.
That is intense. and
Lovely.
strange.
Yes.
So, moving on. The next, no, that was me. The next bit of equipment is the K2 EMF meter.
Woo.
Possibly,
Something just bumped around. But
yeah.
Yeah, I got compression on the microphone, so they're not going to hear that.
Oh,
but
so
well,
we just
something-
heard a sound in the dark and sinister demon room.
That's where it always is. I swear.
So what I have in my hand is the K2. The K2 EMF meter is probably the most recognizable bit of ghost hunting equipment. You'll see it on any ghost hunting show. Yeah, and the funny thing about the K2 meter is it is designed for construction work and for electricians work to tell you if there is any wayward spilling electricity that could be damaging to your electric bill or your health. So you basically turn it on, and it has a range of lights. There are 5 lights on the top, and whenever something comes along that is of a specific brand of electromagnetic makeup, the lights can go up and down. And usually in ghost hunting parlance, if it gets to 3, it's a pretty solid chance that you're dealing with a pronounced entity. If it gets all the way over, you're dealing with a pretty powerful entity. I have been on numerous ghost hunts where the sustained lights go up and we're like in the middle of the woods. These usually pick up like electric wires, your cell phones maybe, but for the most part, as a matter of fact, if I put on my cell phone, yeah, it's not going off. So, well, maybe a little. But
Maybe just a little bit. But
maybe just a little bit, but not enough to throw the mechanics of the K2 off. The K2 is a very sensitive tool, and it's a very handy tool just to start off with. And I would say that an EMF reader is one of the first purchases that most ghost hunters
Absolutely.
will go for. And there are a wide range of them, but the K2 is probably the champ of the industry.
Yeah, I usually recommend using an EMF reader for finding your hot spots, especially if you're investigating in a larger space or, like you're kind of trying to figure out where the ghosts seem to be hanging out. Looking for that big piece of, energy pumping out. That's usually a good place to start, at least.
Absolutely. And it does give you some credence to
It's starting to flicker a little
is
bit.
flickering.
For those of you who are just listening, it went up to about the third.
yeah,
or
just
so.
shy of the third. I mean,
Yeah.
it gave a little flicker on the third.
So
So in any case,
we'll leave them on and see.
yeah, we'll leave them on and see if we get anything. It's already been kind of an interesting,
Yeah, we're not even on a ghost hunt.
I know we're just
we're just explaining the equipment. So the next thing we have is a. You see that?
yeah.
It's very interesting because it's spiking in such a way. It almost. I was wondering, are you going with my voice? Hello. No, that would make no sense. That
Yeah.
It's going all the way up to yellow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going all the way up to yellow.
that's really interesting.
It makes me want to put my EMF reader out and see if we're picking up the same thing.
Sure.
Yeah. Let me grab it.
Yeah, we can talk about cat balls.
So I have in my hand a cat ball. It is a cat toy that lights up as the cat plays with it. And it has become a very popular tool in ghost hunting. And the interesting thing is, until recently, I had never actually been involved in a ghost hunt where one of these went off during the hunt. But well, actually, there's another one in here. But what I found out was they are very good at just detecting the strangest motions, and we had an amazing experience at Grave Face during a ghost hunt where it was going off readily and steadily, and it was very peculiar. because, like I said, nothing was vibrating around it. There was no reason for it to be going off. And so, like, if you leave it alone, it'll turn off. But if it receives any vibrations or any movement, it will come back on. And we have had strange experiences with the light. And basically, again, when you're using these tools, you're oftentimes having to instruct a spirit to come play with this ball, come touch the ball, come touch the antenna. Do you see this light? Come to the light. Because in many instances, they have no idea what you've laid out. They don't have any, clue as to how these things work. So by asking them, inviting them, telling them, do you see this ball? Could you touch the ball? Do you see this, light? Could you touch this light? It gives you an opportunity to establish the intelligent haunt scenario, which is if I speak to the spirit and it responds through action, through touching these things and through causing the lights to go off or whatever, that gives you an idea of whether or not the presence is here. And actually, if you because I talk with my hands, I am causing a lot of vibration, and the ball isn't going off, which is a real indication of how much. Sorry. I made the REM pod very mad. Yeah. Trying to make the cat ball go off.
I will say too, at the Greyface Museum, I put this up on a display case so that had a ledge around it, so that way it wouldn't roll off.
Right. It was very
very secure. And so basically,
I just pounded on a table right next to it, and it did not go off.
Yeah.
To the point at which I was worried that but when I touch it, it goes off.
Yeah. And these are great to use just because it does not take a lot of energy for a spirit to use it.
Right.
And so it's more enticing because the spirit doesn't always want to waste all of its energy entertaining you, because it takes time for them to rebuild that energy source. So if it's only just like a little bit, a lot of times they're like...
In cases with this kind of sensitivity, it's not moving because I'm moving the table. I'm moving the table and it is jiggling. Yeah, I'm sorry. But a spirit can actually pass its, finger through it or touch it at it. And it doesn't have to move for the spirit to set it off. It just, this specific array will go off if it has any type of interactions.
I think the cat ball is my favorite, to be honest.
Oh, JP loves
Well, it's
it.
so
really
exciting.
It's
very exciting because it is one of those things where you're like, I don't see how that works. I don't see how it could have gone off in this situation. Because you can really focus in and say, okay, I'm not going to move anything. Nothing's going to move. We're just going to sit and look at it. And then when it goes off, you're like, whoa, which is a kinder way of saying, oh no!
Oh no! A ghost!
A ghost!
Is there anything to the colors that the cat ball lights up? No,
I don't think so.
It is a cat toy. It is not. Sure. It is not a ghost hunt. It was not developed by ghost hunters to show you ghosts. It is so that when your cat hits it, it lights up and it's enjoyable. Yeah.
Oh, so it
is literally a cat toy. That's why we call it the cat ball.
Yeah, it's literally for mental enrichment for cats.
Yeah, exactly.
and
so
also
cats can
us.
have some excitement. And yeah, we love watching cats play with these things because they light up, they roll around, and cats chase them, and that creates a very exciting afternoon if you have a cat. If you don't have a cat, then the only reason to have these is indeed to ghost hunt.
Yes.
Okay, so moving along. The next thing is I have a small thermal camera that actually attaches to my phone. And this one is Seek. It is not the top of the line. FLIR is the top of the line if you're going to buy or invest in any technology that goes into the infrared heat seeking. I would say you would want the FLIR. But this, you just plug it in, it becomes the camera, and then whatever you're pointed at, I don't know why I've done that. When do this.
Also, the EMF reader spike up to like the orange and the red at one point.
So let me see if I can get JT in there. Yep, that's JT. So
There we go.
so you've got basic heat sensing capabilities. This is great for looking for registries of where something has been. In the cases of like looking at for ghosts, sometimes you're looking for cold. So you're looking for dark spots rather than the bright spots. A lot of times people will see like handprints and things like that left. In my experience, when you are getting an increase in heat, it is generally not a good idea to pursue that spirit, because a spirit using energy causes heat. And that means there might be something preparing an attack or preparing to create a physical manifestation. So the hotter it is, the more energy it's consuming. So be wary of the hot spirits when you're using these. Usually you're looking for like a darker spot, a shape that looks like a human being but isn't glowing like this. So and it's fun to just like look at your fingers and look at your toes through the lens of infrared heat. So moving right along, the next tool is our grid pen, or our laser pen. Now the laser pen it's a fun thing because it kind of is like a visual LiDAR. It creates a pattern. I can actually put it on this so you can see it. It creates this grid pattern that if anything moves in the grid pattern, it creates a texture, an outline of whatever it is that moves through it. So as it moves through, you're breaking the laser lights and you will get an idea of the shape. Sometimes you can't see things, especially in the dark, that are moving around. By putting this up, you are going to catch any type of solid mass that moves around. Even things that would be difficult to see with the naked eye will break the light of the you can actually change the matrix of the
and for those of you who are just listening and can't see the grid pen in action, imagine those like projectors, like those dot projectors that you get at like Christmas time. That's essentially what it is. It's just like it projects just little dots and a lot of them.
And so I didn't change the battery from our last adventure, and the battery got drained. It was a fresh, brand new battery, and it was drained out. It was
whatever was over in that corner did not.
I did not enjoy the grid light at all.
No.
You questioned us about it, and then of course made it very
evident it
clear
did not
that
like
it did not like it.
Yeah, it was just started. It first it was like it went off, and then we tried to turn it back on, and didn't it like flicker?
Yeah.
It was like flickering. It was like, I'm not having it. And you were like, what is going on?
Yeah,
Well,
it was very weird.
It asked us through the ghost tube.
Yeah.
That it said, "What is that?"
Yeah.
And we're like, "Oh, it's a light."
We're going to shine light right on you. So yeah, I did not like that.
Yeah, that was wild. That was honestly so wild.
So probably one of the most coveted ghost hunting tools right now is a spirit box.
Oh yeah.
The spirit box is, and there are a number of spirit boxes, the SB7, the spirit box, the S box. They all basically work on the same principle. They're just radios that have been, they basically took the scanning function and removed the ability to stop on a channel. So it just basically scans back and forth on the radio, looking for it said S box. It's scanning FM. You can hear it, and if you press the button, it starts going up and down the tile. I'll turn it up just for a sec. Luckily, I have another one of these too. Could you hand me
I
another
also
one?
have one too, if need be. I have this exact one, y'all. It's
We are
great.
in no shortage of an S box.
We are of no shortage of S boxes in this building. And fun fact, about S-Box is the EMF reader, the K2 EMF reader, because I also have a K2 EMF reader here, and that you can get them on Amazon.
You can easily
it's
get these.
crazy.
These are now all purchasable. Even the REM pod is available on Amazon.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy because you used to have to like go to like
specialty stores.
Exactly, and search for it to a degree, and now it can be at your house in 2 days. So
I can put the link in the description.
Oh yeah,
Sure.
Yeah.
I believe the S box is what, like $60, but like if you're,
I think it's up to 100 and something.
Yeah.
Now. But and the REM pod's about 180, I think. Yeah, I'm talking about you. So this is what it sounds like when you are using a spirit box, and what you're listening for is breakthrough sounds that are words, that are names, that are anything that gets you. But as you can tell, you are picking up radio stations and radio signals, so you can start a conversation by saying, "Is there anybody here? Does anyone have anything they want to say? Do you want to identify yourself?" And then you listen. Mm-hmm. I just heard boiling water.
I've gotten water multiple times today.
So will it be actual voices coming
Sometimes.
through? Like,
Sometimes,
hey,
yeah.
how are y'all? You know, or
Sometimes.
okay.
So you can also turn it to AM. Now AM is going to have a wider. What? That's no, not Bluetooth. Not scanning FM. I did it again. Not line in.
This is honestly one of my least favorite of all of them, solely off the fact that I never have seen it work ever in any way. Like, I've seen the cat ball work, I've even seen the REM pod work. Now I've definitely seen the EMF reader work.
I have seen the spirit box work in several different capacities.
What's going on?
It's on AM now.
Oh, and so it's just
And so there's more static, less
okay.
chatter.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
And then the voices that come through are a little more clear. And you can change the speed at which.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. And something cool about the spirit boxes too. Something cool about it is that you can record
Yes.
on these. So if you do catch something, or if you just want to record your session, you can. So that way you're able to offload onto your computer
Right.
what you captured. And also that way you're able to skim through it again, and you might catch something that you might have missed during the investigation.
And the more organized you become, you would keep logs and you would write down every time you heard something that you weren't sure of. And if you're recording it, then you can look back at your logs, find the time on the log, and figure out exactly when the event occurred. Now, one of the most popular ways to use the spirit box now is called the Estes method. Mm-hmm. And the Estes method was created in Estes Park during a investigation of the Stanley Hotel. And basically what they do is they put a headphone, oftentimes a noise-canceling headphone, on somebody and separate them from the person asking the question. Because a lot of times when you ask a question, you're listening for an answer. But when somebody's just listening, they hear words and they just start speaking the words. And fascinatingly enough, oftentimes the answers that are coming through are are answering the questions that are being asked.
These two are both going off at about 3.
Really?
These two EMF readers
Both
are
of the EMFs are?
at the same time.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be the light above them, right?
No, it
Shouldn't be.
would have been going off like crazy before that.
No.
If it was the light.
Oh, wow. And it's not the camera filming it.
No, it's not close enough to the camera.
Wow. Okay.
Yes, I'll go ahead and turn this off because it is kind of annoying.
Oh, it's super annoying.
And that's one of the main reasons why it becomes detracting. And why the SES method is nice, because only one person is having to listen to that scanning sound. Next up is dowsing rods. Dowsing rods work on a similar principle to pendulums, really. They are using your physical energy to be a conduit for communication. And the way the dowsing rods work, and called dowsing rods because they were how people used to divine water. They would walk around and wait for the rods to cross because they would be over water. Stop that. And supposedly you can communicate with spirits by asking the spirits to cross them and then to uncross them. And then when you have them at a point where you feel comfortable, where you say yes, no questions, so that, cross for yes, or towards for yes, away for no. So you say things like, did you die here? And then you'd wait to see if the rods crossed or went towards each other. Okay.
Like that.
Like that. And then, you would, whoa, where are you going? And then you'd say things like, were you murdered here? And then you'd wait. And if they go apart, that means no, they were not murdered here. Do you belong here? So it seems like, yes, they do belong here. So
there's no way to control those?
I don't know how to control them.
Okay.
For the most part, and it's highly questionable. I am fully aware of how questionable it is, but I can't make it do what I want it to do. Like, I don't know how. So when it comes down to it, because some people will use them as literal, like, point to, where are you standing? And it will, try to answer that question by pointing you in the direction. Are you nearby? Can you show me where you are? Are you shy now? Wait, where are you going? Where are you going? And again, highly questionable as to what the, all right, I get it. Come back over here. Come back over here. So I can make them hang out in the right place. But I've seen such interesting experiences because people will denounce them outright by saying things like, well, when I put it on a stand, they don't do anything. I was like, well, that is absolutely correct. They would not do anything if you put dowsing rods on the stands, because it requires that.
Hello.
Hi. It requires that human touch. It requires that human energy to set it off. It's kind of like a Ouija board Oculus.
Absolutely.
The placard on the Ouija board is there. If you're not touching it, the likelihood of it moving at all is very, very slim. And if it does, run.
Yes.
So that brings us to our final bit of ghost hunting equipment, and that is your phone. Mm-hmm. My phone. It's my phone.
It's like my phone, you mean? You mean my phone?
Okay. And there are a number of apps that you can use to ghost hunt. And they all have different varieties, and you take them with a grain of salt. But again, if you remember the original reason why you bring a lot of equipment with you, it is to help identify places that can give that might have haunting, but also to help pass the time from just sitting and waiting for something to happen. It is a very forward, active way to experience things. So there is a Spirit Box app, which is fine because your phone can pick up radio signals.
I'm telling you, sometimes ghost apps don't work in this building, like in certain spots.
So this is basically just going through the radio stations on my phone. So this app is interesting and fine. It is a Spirit Box app, and it has its purposes, but it doesn't make you listen to constant droning static.
Mm-hmm.
I see.
which so it's only picking up those peak signals that are pushing through as it scans through, and gives you a likelihood of a hearing voice rather than that constant radio chatter.
What's the science, but like when it comes to ghosts being able to like speak through radio waves?
Iffy.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But
Heard.
here's the interesting thing. There's a lot of different theories that go on, because the concept is a ghost doesn't really have the tools to make noise by itself. Oftentimes it is utilizing other sounds to create what we consider to be its voice. That gives it sort of this interesting thing. There was a long time when like turning your TV to a channel that's not receiving, so you get this white static, this white thing. And some people say take pictures of it, but really what you're doing is you're creating static, a sound that then you can try to discern from the sound, and the spirit can use the sound to shape it so that it becomes words. In the case of a spirit box, there were numerous occasions where people were thinking of a loved one or something like that, and their radio started to scan and would go literally. One of the creepiest stories I ever heard was a guy who was like working in his garage, and he had the radio on, and he was thinking about his father who had just recently passed, and the radio station started going up and down on the radio dial, and he's like trying to figure out what's going on, and it fell on the words, "I know why I died." But it was coming through, and it kept doing it.
Wow.
It was like shy, no, why, shy, and just went over and over and over again. And he went to investigate because it was thought to be natural causes, and then whatever. I don't even remember the rest of the story. I just remember how creepy that moment was. And that was, I heard that story before I was ever familiar with the concept of a spirit box, but now spirit boxes are everywhere.
That's true.
So we have, like I said, Ghost Tube makes 3 ghost hunting apps. The first one that I ever downloaded, I find to be incredibly creepy, because what they've done is they basically made a spirit box, but they've decided that it should sound really creepy.
Yeah, they did. They added this very odd echo to it. Also,
That's pretty.
Thanks.
Atwell?
That is the 4th time we've gotten Atwell in
Yes.
this building today.
Atwell.
Atwell?
Yes.
Yes.
And we've heard it. It was 3 times in succession.
Yeah.
In 3 different. Well, actually, it was the same female's voice, but it couldn't have been because it's scanning radio stations.
Atwell.
Yeah.
Well, there is the gray lady, is what I call her, because, like I've said, she looks like the gray lady from Harry Potter. And I've been trying to figure out who this woman is for so long. Atwell. So,
January.
January.
Atwell. Is that you? So good to see you.
Did you die in January? Wait.
Summer.
Summer?
January Atwell died in the summer.
Fall.
Or fall.
Or fall? Did it say or fall?
That's what it
Yeah.
sounded like.
Bro.
So, a very exciting little app.
Yeah.
Strange that they chose to make it sound so scary, but kudos to them for what they do. Next up is the Ghost Tube, which has a bank of words that it is using magnetic. It's using magnetic energy to determine what the words are. It's taking magnetic energy and choosing.
I just looked up Atwell, Savannah, Georgia, and I got Atwell's Art and Frame, and that went off.
Are you
Yeah.
familiar with
No way.
Atwell? Oh,
This
is the blue light going off?
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty intense.
Is it wait, it's it turn the app off. Is it the app? was the app.
The app's not
No,
on.
wait, hold on. The app's not on. The app's not on. Are
although
you
I-
on the app, Madison?
No, I'm just on Google.
So if I bring the app back on, so the app's back on, but that's just being close to it.
So it wasn't the app.
No.
So it wasn't the app.
Are you related to Atwell's Art and Frame on Drayton Street?
What?
Is that your family?
Oh God.
So, for those of you who do not, who are not watching the video,
need
the
to watch
REM
the
pod is
video.
going off, and it seems to be in direct response. We had been hearing this name Atwell using these tools all day long, and Madison just looked up Atwell in Savannah and found a framing business that is.
Are you related to Lisa Atwell?
It like listens to you.
Yeah.
That's
Like when you just started talking, it was like, okay, what?
Are you a part of the Atwell family?
Hold on. Real quick. I need to do something as a camera guy. I need to show people we're not messing around real
Yeah.
fast.
Oh,
So
sure.
without cutting it, here, camera A. Or camera B, sorry. All right. So nothing under the table.
nothing on the table.
No.
That's the biggest thing. Hold on. Nothing under the table. Can't really see.
Why is it acting so? That's intense.
It's very intense.
Because again, the REM pod is something that usually doesn't go off long. It's just like
Yeah.
beeps and.
Okay.
Get a wide shot.
Yeah, I don't even know how to test the REM pod.
Are you an artist? Are you an art collector? Every time we turn this on, I swear. Yeah. All right.
And so the last bit of ghost hunting. It's not me.
It's not me either. Well, I turned this on because I usually can get a name through this.
So, final thing is this. This is an app that Ghost2 puts out that has a lidar, which means that it is conditioned to find human form. So, if I point this at Madison, you can see that it creates a wire skeleton to sort of. Yeah. So you can see this wire skeleton that it creates because it recognizes the human form. Now, you can walk around and try to find other instances of these wires. They will sometimes catch on bits of equipment and think that it represents a human. So anything that has that kind of T shape usually brings it about. But it's a fun tool, and you can scare yourself pretty silly with one of these, because you can turn around and there will be a wireframe skeleton coming at you. See my wireframe skeleton self? Hello.
So can I have it to see
Yeah.
if to see what's over by that maybe?
Sure. You can record too if you want to hit the record button.
All right, I'll go ahead and record it.
So, Atwell.
Atwell.
Is there an Atwell here with us? Or are you looking for Atwell? Is Atwell significant to you? So strange. If there's somebody here, can you come close to this light here? Thank you.
Thank you.
Can you touch this little ball here? Can you touch the little ball? There's a little ball
It seems like the Atwell family is very well established in Savannah. There's Atwell's Art and Frame that's still around, that's over on Drayton Street in downtown Savannah. There's Atwell Pecan Company
Oh.
from the 30s, which is interesting.
Oh, I wonder if this was a warehouse for the Atwell Pecan Factory. Was this a warehouse for your family?
Boy, that was a loud one.
That was long. So Atwell Pecan Factory, maybe, perhaps?
Atwell Pecan Company. Did your family sell pecans in the 1930s? Were you alive in the 1930s? There are multiple bumps happening
Yes,
around
there-
this room, by the
Those of you
way.
who can't hear it, there are some strange sounds coming from the shadows all around us. So, welcome to our ghost hunting equipment episode.
Yeah.
This
Not what
is
we anticipated.
not what we were intending to do. We were actually just going to give you a quick demonstration of the equipment that we like to use. And again, you kind of take these things with a grain of salt as much as you can. But when you start to find patterns, you kind of follow those patterns. This Atwell is very intriguing to us because we heard it repeatedly. Are you from Georgia? Are you from America? Are you from overseas? If you want to answer yes, just come close to this. Is that me?
Yeah, that was you.
No?
No? Oh.
Is that Morse code? Because
Right?
you got to slow down.
I'm getting this up for the pair of junkies like ASAP because I think they're gonna love this. This is crazy.
Oh.
Yeah, we're getting some serious
Yeah.
activity on the. Oh, whoa!
We went up to.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Jeez.
Interesting. Intriguing. I'm intrigued.
Is the name Stuckey's familiar to you?
Stuckies. They make pecan logs.
They do.
Okay, so for those of you listening, we got off on a little tangent. Our EMF readers just spiked all the way over. The REM pod has been very
Losing it.
active
Yes.
with us, and I am going to later today. I'm going to take it and run tests to make sure that it's not doing something strange because of something we've done.
Goodness.
But it is not joking around.
No.
It's definitely going off with quite the irregular activity.
All right. Well, it's we're ending a ghost hunting equipment episode
With a ghost hunt.
with a ghost hunt.
Absolutely.
A successful one, I would say.
It feels like we have.
Thank you,
at
Atwell.
At the very least, a
Oh,
name.
that-
It says you're
It said
welcome.
You're welcome.
A name to research.
I think
So-
Atwell is like, I want you to be successful.
Yeah.
A good spirit.
Yeah.
A good lease,
Well,
man.
okay. Are you the woman that I've seen in that room
To answer yes, just touch
touch
The
the
light?
red light?
or come close to it. Are you a woman? Are you a man? Are you neither? Okay.
They might be done.
They might be done. So let's close it out, shall we?
Yes. All right. Well, this is enthralling.
That was my phone.
Okay.
That's
Oh.
actually the voice of my text.
Okay. I was like, well, that's weird. Anyways, okay, cool. So this turned out not exactly how we anticipated, but definitely fun. I feel like every time we turn on any type of ghost hunting anything inside of this building, it kind of loses it. So with that,
Sorry.
Thank you guys so much for watching. We are more than happy to do like a full investigation of this space. at some point because might as well
Absolutely.
try to figure out who is in here. JT and I are going to the Georgia Historical Society today.
The Atwells.
We will be looking at the Atwells, and then we will be coming back and we will be asking questions. So with that, y'all, thank you so much again for watching. My name is Madison Timmons.
I'm Chris Susi.
And stay spooky, y'all.